They're up to something, y'all. They're pulling a stunt or something. Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. So did y'all see the arraignment with Bryan? I know y'all did, and that's why you guys are here. So I am filming this for you guys on Monday, just not long after the arraignment, and I wanted to talk to you guys about a few things, some things that I saw, what I think happened. I think they're up to something. I think the defense is planning something, and I'm going to tell you guys why, so just stay with me here. Before we get into it though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there, more laid back, more sporadic. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon is for 18 and up, and over there we talk about more personal story times. We go live over there, and I have a $2 tier over there where all of the true crime stuff that can't go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies, that goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. I also have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Snapchat, and those are always linked down in the description box if you'd like to come and check me out. So Bryan had his arraignment. Y'all don't need me to catch y'all up on everything. I have a whole entire Idaho 4 playlist if you guys want to get caught up and you want to hear my thoughts about the other stuff. Otherwise, we're going to pick right up here. The first thing that I noticed is that Bryan looked like he was wearing a bulletproof vest under his orange top or jumpsuit, top and pants, uniform. And that is so interesting because you know that they make them go through metal detectors. The people that are in the courtroom side, like for the family side, they go through metal detectors to come in there, but it still looked like he had on a bulletproof vest, the same way that he had on all of that protection and stuff when he was being transported. I don't know if you guys remember, but when he was being transported from Pennsylvania back to Idaho, they even had a helmet on him to protect his head at certain points. Like, they're really trying to make sure he's protected so he can go through this legal process. Another thing is, I did read that none of his family was in court today, but a lot of the victims' families were. And there were certain times during the hearing that I thought I heard crying in the background. And I'm not going to go too more into that because I'm not sure if that's what that was, because the camera never panned off of like him during that time. But it did sound like that there was crying in the background. And I do want to say that Bryan's side of his face, I don't know if it's the lighting in that courtroom, but it looks different. And you could see his muscles clenching at certain times in the side of his face. And we're going to talk about that in a second too. Now, according to reporters who were in the courtroom, there were 4 full rows of victims' families in court. And for them to see Bryan, and Bryan, in my opinion, acted the same way as he did the last time we seen him in court, but maybe even more confident now, which disturbs me, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, I just, I would never want to be in that position, but I always put myself in people's shoes when I do these videos, or when I'm researching, or even if I'm just reading, whatever, and I just don't understand how he can be so cold and unemotional, even if he was innocent, right? Like, even if he's innocent. And it just makes me think about, and I was talking with my friend about this actually earlier today, is that like, we have to remember, Bryan Kohberger studied people in his exact same shoes. And he is in there, cool, calm, and collected, completely emotionless. I don't care what a lawyer tells me, you need to just stay calm or whatever. This is an emotional situation. You've got family members literally crying right behind you, or at the very least behind you, staring at you. And the ability to keep it together the way that he did almost makes you think that he could have the ability to keep it together to sneak into somebody's house and go up the stairs and maybe do something and come back down the stairs and run into one of the roommates and end up saying, shh, I'm going to help you. Y'all remember, right? Go watch my other videos if you don't know about all of that. That was in the affidavit. But like, when you see the way he can keep himself together in these situations, being transported across the country with a bulletproof vest and a helmet on your head, it makes you wonder if he's cool, calm, and collected to get in a house and out of a house in less than 15 minutes and go on about his everyday life like it's nothing. Judge, his last name is Judge, read Bryan his rights, and again, he was cool, calm, and collected.
You have a constitutional right to have an attorney represent you throughout these proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, then one is appointed at public expense. Ms. Taylor and her team have already been appointed, so that's taken care of. You have a right to a speedy and public jury trial, where the state would be required to prove every element of each charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. But you're not required to testify because you also have a right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions, so you can remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way. What you do need to remember, though, is that anything you do say, other than to your lawyers, could be used against you in a later court proceeding. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Any questions about the rights?
No.
All right.
Before the actual video footage of the arraignment had came out, I'm sitting there reading stuff online, reading what different news sources are saying that were in there, and how they were saying that when it came time for Bryan to enter a plea of guilty or non-guilty, that he took the silent option. I already knew, because I had been reading before all of this, that you can either go up there and you can plead guilty, non-guilty, or you can remain silent. If you remain silent, then the judge will automatically enter you into a not guilty plea. When I heard that, I immediately thought, oh, he's playing games. Oh, we got a Teddy Jr. right here. He's playing games. This is going to be a spectacle. Okay, whatever. He's doing the thing. When I watched the court video, though, the judge was asking him, like, did he understand each charge? He read out each name, and he said, yes, yes, I do, yes. Through each and every one of them, he had to answer, okay? But then when the judge asked his attorney, is your client ready to enter a plea? This is the part where he's going to say guilty or not guilty. His attorney stood up and said this.
Mr. Kohberger, do you understand the charge in count one?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count two, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count three, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count four, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count five, murder in the
Yes.
first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Kohberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
Okay, because Mr. Kohberger is standing silent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge, counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Now, when I saw that, you guys, I thought, they're up to something. Okay, that wasn't Bryan that said that. That wasn't Bryan that stood there silently, like I thought at first, maybe from reading the different media outlets, that maybe Bryan, he was asked and he stood there silently and didn't answer. Oh no, he answered every other question except for that one. So in my opinion, they're up to something. They're planning something. There's a reason why they did that. And nobody really knows exactly why yet. So that tells me they got a plan. And that makes me so nervous. I remember immediately texting my friends saying, I hope that this doesn't end up being another Jose Baez type of thing. Y'all remember? I know y'all are tired of me. I'm telling y'all that trial scarred me, y'all. For those of y'all that don't exactly know what I'm talking about the Casey Anthony trial, because her lawyer in my personal, very unprofessional opinion, go do your own research, form your own opinion, made a complete spectacle of that trial. It was a full entire clown show. I mean, and it was so convoluted with all this random information that the jury was like, we don't know. We can't say she's guilty because we got so much stuff, we're confused. And it makes me wonder if this Ann Taylor is working with him, because see, when he was arrested there, it seemed like from the outside that Ann Taylor was ready to be on it. Before he was even transferred from Pennsylvania back to Idaho, she was already at the crime scene, baby, with her friends taking videos and all that ready, okay? Because this is going to be huge. It's already huge, and I don't know. When she stood up and said that they were going to remain silent on the plea, I thought, they're up to something, y'all. They got a plan. What could it be? I don't know. I just hope that Ann Taylor can sleep at night with whatever she's doing, because they got a lot of evidence against him. But who knows? Maybe she knows something we don't. Innocent until proven guilty. Something else that was interesting to me with watching this arraignment is it seemed like Bryan Kohberger's jaw tensed when the judge read the girls' names, but it looked like his jaw could have relaxed when he mentioned Ethan's name. Now, I'm going to play it. Y'all tell me.
Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died. Count 3, murder in the first degree. Kayla Gonzalez, a human being, by stabbing Kayla Gonzalez, from which she died. Count 4, murder in the first degree. Zayna Kernodle, excuse me. This is hard, I'm sorry. Zayna Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Zayna Kernodle, from which she died. Count 5, murder in the first degree. Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died.
Now, it's kind of what it seemed like. And I find that interesting, because if that is what was happening within him, if his jaw was tensing, because he's keeping it together, right? But maybe he don't realize, you can see because of the lighting, when his jaw tenses up, you know, he got in trouble and reprimanded while he was working at the university, because allegedly he did a lot of like sexist things against women, and that he was treating women differently than men. And this is also thought to be a crime of incel and just all of this stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it was the lighting. Maybe he was chewing a fingernail and he just happened to, you know, stop at the time that they got to Ethan. But it was something that I noticed and thought was weird. And his jaw seemingly tensed up whenever the judge mentioned the death penalty.
For counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, murder in the first degree, maximum penalties, life in prison, or the death penalty. Fine of up to $50,000 for both fine and life in prison or the death penalty. Restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. Also, additional fine of up to $5,000 to be paid directly to the victim's families.
After the judge entered into a non-guilty plea on Bryan's behalf because he was silent, he did end up telling the prosecution that they had 60 days to announce if they were going to go for the death penalty. And I don't know, but I'm having to assume that they are. I mean, I don't really see what else they would be going for here. And it does seem like the family, that's exactly what they want. So I'm expecting for the prosecution to come out and announce that they're going for the death penalty. So the judge ended up asking Bryan's attorney, like, when they wanted to do trial.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial, right? We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today. So I'd ask the court to set it for an October trial date.
How long do you think it'll take to try the case?
My best guess is it would take at least 4 weeks, maybe 6.
So you'd like me to set this for a 6-week
trial?
At this point, I would, Your Honor.
I felt like with the amount of evidence that they have, it seems like this is going to be like a 3-month trial. But then again, maybe they don't have a lot of defense. Like, what is his defense going to be? Who are the people that's going to come and testify that, oh, Bryan would never do this, or or I just don't see, where there's going to be a defense in this. Or maybe, now that I think about it, maybe the reason why they entered into a silent plea was to see if they were going to do the death penalty. Then that way, maybe they can try to struck a plea deal. I don't know. I don't see Bryan Kohberger pleading guilty. I just don't see it. I see him enjoying all of this. But then again, I don't know. So after the judge and Ann Taylor, Bryan Kohberger's defense, discussed how long she believed the trial would take, they set it for October 2nd, which I hope it don't get pushed back, you guys. I hope October seems like a great time. It's after the summertime. I'm going to be watching. Y'all going to be watching, right? We're going to watch it. Hopefully it's going to be televised. I would think that it would be. But that seems like a great time. But I was surprised that they said this year. So I don't know. I feel like they're up to something, y'all. I feel like the defense is up to something. They feel like they've got a rabbit in their hat or something. What do y'all think? After court was adjourned, this is when Kaylee's sister apparently told a representative that she felt like it was very disrespectful that the judge got Kaylee's name wrong. The judge did call Kaylee Kayla, which I was even surprised to hear, especially since this is such a well-known case. I know I ain't got no room to talk. Hello. I mean, but some names are hard to pronounce. I did hear the judge trip over Xana's name as well. She felt like it was disrespectful, and I get it because it's Kaylee versus Kayla. And I mean, every media source has been covering this for 6 months now, and the names have been said over and over again. But maybe he was nervous. Maybe he was tripped over his words. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, and we all make mistakes. I hope that they can forgive. But I understand, man. This is a very serious case, and they are so hurt and sensitive right now. And I mean, I guess I couldn't blame them because it is important to get their names right by the judge, literally in court. After Bryans' arraignment hearing, he was back in the courtroom for a gag order hearing. The issues that were being addressed were Kaylee's family attorney wants to clarify if he can speak on behalf of his clients, and the media is also fighting to get more public information in a less strict gag order. The judge decided that he wasn't going to make any decisions today on the gag order or the cameras in the courtroom, and so the judge set a hearing for June 9th to address it. So hopefully I mean, it's crazy. Like, the literal family wants the gag order lifted. And that makes me wonder if, people want to say stuff maybe about Dylan and Bethany, because there's so many rumors going around about the 2 surviving roommates, but the families can't speak forward about it because there's a gag order, and they can't even come forward and defend themselves if they want to, which I'm sure that they don't. They're probably still very much in survival mode right now. But they can't because of the gag order. And so, I mean, I definitely get both sides of the gag order. I see why it's beneficial, but I also see why the victims' families feel like they're being held back or hurt even more while they're hurting. So it'll be interesting on June 9th what the judge does, and I hope that he does what the victims' families want. While researching online, I come across a couple theories of why people think that a person would remain silent while entering their plea. One theory said that by standing mute, you avoid silently admitting to the correctness of the proceedings against you until that point. You are then free to attack all previous proceedings that may have been irregular. See, if that's true, I'm telling you, they're up to something. They are up to something. Another theory is the reason why attorneys will respectfully stand mute when entering a plea for their client is to preserve the ability to plead not guilty by reason of insanity and or to preserve the right to determine whether or not the client is competent to stand trial. I don't think that's going to be it at all. I mean, he's obviously not insane. He was going to school. But think about this again, you guys. I know I've said this before, but I want to say it again. How crazy is it that this man was literally studying, interviewing, working close with people who were going into prisons and interviewing people like BTK and And then now he's in that position. Even though he doesn't have a real defense, is he going to take it all the way through trial, kind of like old Teddy did, you know, so he can make a spectacle out of it? Or is he going to try to find a way to, you know, get out of it? Is he enjoying this whole process? One of my best friends thinks that, like, not only does he enjoy this whole process, but he lived alone. He was an isolated type of person. And so all of this is just a game to him. And I mean, I don't know. We don't know Bryan yet, but I mean, it seems weird. What do you guys think? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love you guys. I will see y'all in the next video. Thank y'all for being here, and I cannot wait to read what y'all's theories are. Love y'all. See y'all soon. Bye.